Look, there she is. It's the hostess with the mostest. The
Oh,
future New York Times best-selling author of Carnival Fantastico, the Angela Montoya. Ah, crowd goes
what do I do? What do I do?
wild. Listeners, I've dazzled her. Not only did I steal her intro, I threw a barrage of
Did.
pleasantries and affirmation.
You shook. I shook. I was shocked. I didn't know what to expect. You came in hot. You did. It reminds me of how like we used to intro, where I would do the Melanie Schubert. Wait, how did I even intro you? I'd be like, she's. Remember, I would say nice things to you before.
Yeah, I feel like our whole t-shirt came about because every week you tried to outdo yourself. You'd be, I kind of miss those days when I would turn on my screen and all I would hear in the Dolce Matthew McConaughey tones is how amazing and glorious and magical and divine I was. I know what happened to that.
Wow. Wow. I am so sorry. I forgot to bring the magic. I knew something was missing from the podcast. Like we were just missing a little
I
bit of
just
razzle
spat.
dazzle.
I just
And that's
spat.
what it is.
Mm.
We are missing the super hot, so smart, so talented, wildly attractive, probably smells very good. Great writer.
Depends on the day. For both. For both. I have to confess someday, well, actually it's good. I've been trying some days because I read about how how we all hear deodorant clogs your pores and whatever. Goose, Goose wants in on she wants to weigh in. So when I'm not seeing people, I decided to like let my pores breathe. And I'll be honest with you, at first it was not a vibe and I felt like woofy, but my system's actually sorted itself out. So now I
Wow.
reserve like the heavy deodorants for when I'm going to see people because she's not full hippie. I still get a toxic sweat. I think you can't change that. Like, and
Yeah.
it depends what you eat as well. But some days I'm just free pitting it.
She's free pitting it. She is free. Okay, so maybe I will take back a little bit. She smells so good, but I feel like you still, your essence, you know, really
Angela,
smells
you
good.
probably smell great. Melanie proceeds to do a 5-minute rant about how she's been letting her pits breathe. I was
This
worried
you're
after I
giving the people
read.
what they want.
I
This is
was
what the
worried
people want.
after I read about if you block your pores too much, it can be like really bad for you. So,
So stinky it is.
no, I'm
A
not
little bit
stinky
of
though.
stink.
We've gone through the stinky stage.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good.
It's just a
That's
natural musk now.
just a natural aroma.
You know what I smell like because I rubbed that. Well, it depends on the perfumes I have, but I rubbed that oil on the little treasure chest I sent you.
Oh yeah, it smells just like delicate daisies. Just and wood smoke. Eh,
Ooh. I have to tell you, speaking of
Sandalwood.
Wood Smoke and Matthew McConaughey, who we brought up again at the
Okay.
start of this episode, I have to tell you, when we did the airpeen episode,
Yes.
you know how I tend to like latch on to something that amuses me?
Yes.
I really latched on hard to your impersonation of Matthew McConaughey, and it has been cracking me up every time I see him anywhere because I just hear you say in his voice.
All right, all right.
And also, when you were reading the book, you read it in his voice and you were like, well, hi there, passenger princess. That lives rent free in my head almost permanently. And after we did that episode, there was like a scene of you doing, I was like, there she is. In this scene, she embodies Matthew. while I was editing. I saw it. I was like, I saw his soul enter you. And I was like,
Oh
there's got to
my.
be a photo of him where he looks exactly like this. And I was gonna make a reel where you morphed into each other with your audio. Ah, there,
Oh my
passenger
God.
princess. Then I got busy and I realized that making a reel with you morphing into Matthew was not a priority. So I had to put it in the trash. But I got real close.
Yeah,
I had just a photo of you in the
that
corner of my laptop screen for ages, just like, all right, all right. And then I was like, it's not happening and I can't leave that there anymore. So you're in the trash.
oh, how that's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I mean, I can appreciate the maturity, that you have grown. You said, wait, I've got other things to do right now. I cannot spend my time morphing Angela's face into Matthew McConaughey's. That's growth. That's priorities.
Okay, but I did spend like half an hour trying to find a face of his on Google that looked like yours. I was just like, it's taking too long.
I can see it. I feel like
Yeah,
we have some similarities. Yeah,
I,
I see it.
yeah,
His wife, I believe, is Latina. I feel like she's
true.
that has nothing to do with him though. So I don't know where I was going there.
Were you picturing that were you picturing that you were his wife in this moment?
Yeah, I don't know how I jumped to that. I
He
don't.
wishes. He's said some
Yeah.
questionable stuff, right? Like he's come out with
Yeah.
some interesting conservative
Yeah.
type views, eh?
Yes. That's
Mm.
what I've heard because he has
Same.
who was I who were we talking with somebody about this or because he has a okay, yeah, I don't know, but somebody at some point has mentioned him to me before. And because he has a autobiography.
Yeah. We have talked about it. I
And
can't remember with who either.
yeah. Okay, okay. And like cuz you on the outside you're like, "Wait, Matthew McConaughey, all
Yeah.
right." But I guess yeah, he has some interesting viewpoints apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember what they were, but I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It's giving patriarchy, it's giving non-progressive. That's all I remember thinking, but I shouldn't attack when I can't remember what was said.
Yeah.
But anyway, it amuses me to no end. Um
Yes, yes. Well, welcome to the show, everybody.
mhm. Yeah, Angela has to do the welcome or she won't be able to make it through.
I don't know why my brain is like, you've got to say it. But I have to say, I liked that you said future best-selling
Yeah,
author. We're going to claim that.
we
We're
are
claiming
claiming it.
it. Thank you, universe.
It's
It's
only a
coming.
matter of time. I already see it manifesting, and obviously, well, not obviously, but I seem to have seen a certain somebody hosting a very prolific best-selling author last night, and I just thought at some point that table's going to turn, and somebody's going to be hosting your best-selling author event. I
Well,
honestly like
yes.
I'm not even like I've always thought that about you that like it's only a matter of time. So just keep doing your thing and yeah, it's
Manifesting.
manifestation. It's not even a prediction, it just is.
Yes. Feel it in the universe. The universe has accepted
It's
this
been
or whatever.
working. The universe has
Yes.
accepted this footnote.
Yes. Thank you,
How
universe.
was your event last night? It looked pretty
It was
major.
yeah, it was awesome. So I got to be the in conversation partner with Adam Silvera, who wrote uh the Survivor uh
Wants
well
to die at
this
the end.
yeah, this yeah, exactly. The Survivor wants to die at the end. That's the most recent book that came
Yeah.
out. And so it was really really cool though because um this this Barnes and Noble in particular is my like local Barnes and Noble.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
so yeah, and I I'm sure he like planned on coming up here probably because Stephanie Garber hosts a lot of events here.
Mm.
And so, But luckily, like I got to be his in conversation partner. And so it's my, like I was saying, it's my local Barnes and Noble.
Mm.
And as I was walking in, I was just like, I just had this like flashback memory of me standing out there, like taking a picture of it and just being like, someday I'm going to have a book on the shelves out there, you know? And this was like before I probably even was queering. I was just like,
Mm.
someday it's going to happen. I'm, you know,
Yeah.
manifesting, whatever. Like, it's going to happen someday. And so, like, as I was walking in, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I have two books on the shelves and I
Yeah,
get
you
to do this
do.
event. Yeah, I do. And I get to do this event with somebody that is so talented.
Mm.
And his books, like, are extraordinary. So
Mm.
good. And he's just a rock star. And he's a New York Times bestselling author.
Yeah, like
Um,
multiple times, right?
yeah, yes. Like just an absolute star. And so like I was just walking in there just being like, this is so cool. This is like what I was dreaming of, and I'm here and I'm living it. And so I got there early, um, because his publicist told me to. But he wasn't there. He wasn't there. But I got there early and I went and sat in the back room to
Mm.
sign like extra copies and stuff like that. And but yeah, I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh, like I'm in the back room of Barnes and Noble waiting for Adam to come in. And yeah, so I was just having all of these like little moments of just like gratitude and just kind of like awe of like, oh my God, here we are. And but yeah, so then we had our chat. I It was a blast. He could talk to anybody. He's so like dynamic. So we had our in conversation. Lots of people asked him questions, stayed around for his line. And I was sitting there. I signed a few books, as he would call them, like the sympathy buys.
I saw him slashing you in the comments.
Yeah. Because the whole time we were talking shit to each other the
I
whole time.
love when you meet someone like that and the banter is instantly there. That's so fun.
Yes. Oh, it was instantly there. He's hilarious. And so that's the whole time I was just talking shit to him like you know, like, oh, his book's not that good. Like you should just buy mine. And so like the whole time just talking shit and he was like, "Oh, here's somebody buying your book, sympathy book, you know, just and I was living for it because I was like, yes, this is we're here, we're having a good time. But like listening to so many readers come up to him and just being like,
Mm.
this book like brought me through so many hard times. You know, this book saved me.
Mm.
It was just so cool to see the impact his words have had on so many.
Yeah.
And it was like also a really good reminder of like we're especially I think for young adult writers, well, just for all writers, but I think also when you are writing for younger readers in mind,
Mm.
you know, you have this like big honor
Mm.
of getting to write something that will impact them sort of like almost through their entire lives, and maybe even change their trajectory and their thought processes.
Yeah.
And so I was just sitting there just like, oh man, this is like it's really special to
Yeah.
be able to have this kind of impact. And so yeah, so it was really it was awesome. He's so great. It was the final stop on his like nationwide tour.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, so it was a blast. I was like, it was just so cool. It was a moment.
You're so cool. You're so
Yeah, yeah.
cool. I'm so proud. Adam is lucky he got to hang with you. He
He
is,
is
though.
so lucky,
He
so
is.
lucky. Yeah.
He's
No,
gonna
he's
be
great.
just like wishing for the day another host is as cool as Angela Montoya.
Yes, that's 100% right. Yes. Right that day, the day before, he was actually with Nicola Yoon, who is my
Oh yeah.
publisher. So I might not have beaten her, but that's okay. That's fine.
You'd have
I'll give
beaten
it to her.
her in sass and
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I
wanted
might
to
have
say
accidentally
cuntiness, but I wasn't sure if we say cunty.
no,
God.
I did because I accidentally called him like a humble queen. And he was like, what?
I love
And so
that
I was like,
though. I have to tell
yeah.
you, speaking of humble queens, again, as you probably know about me by now, when a word latches onto my brain, I tend to like have to let it run the gamut in my brain for like
Yes,
a
yes.
month or something. And then I'm like, I'm saying slay every second word. I gotta let it go. But
It's a fun one.
it is a fun one. I'm not totally letting it go. But I have to tell you, I say, like bitch and like girl, because I watch so much drag race that you just start saying what the queens say. To the point I accidentally jokingly, but now I say it like seriously to Phil, my husband. I'll be like, girl, you don't even know the tea I have. And he lives for it, you know? I feel like if a
Yes.
man is being called queen or girl, he's like done something right because he's in on the girl talk. He's like been given the tick of approval? So
Yes.
Adam
One
is
of the good
lucky you
ones.
accidentally called him Slayer Queen or whatever you said because it just means
Yeah.
you were comfortable and he's a star.
That's it. That's it right there. So yeah. He's a humble queen.
Humble
And
Queen.
yeah, but it was awesome. It really, really was. And so this Saturday, I get to also be in conversation with Sandra Proudman. So
Yes!
I'll be back again with
And
another humble queen.
shout out to Sandra. It's her debut today.
Yes. It's
So
wild.
exciting. I need to get on to dropping her episode, but I fell behind. There was a lot on the plate, but it'll be great. I'll drop it around the time you guys are doing the event and
Yeah.
it'll be like a full circle moment. Is that
Yeah.
local to you?
Yeah, same place. I'll be back
Oh my
at
gosh.
yes, back at Roseville, Barnes and Noble.
I fucking
Yeah.
love that so I love that you guys get to do that. My spirit will be there cheering you both on so fucking hard. And yeah,
Yeah.
like what an exciting time. And like you've been working so hard though. You know what I mean? Like this the thing is like we say like manifest, but behind that word is a lot of hard work, right? Like
Yes.
I feel like the word manifest and drawing your attention to something is important. But like the work is important too. Like if you're not taking steps towards the stuff, like the 1,000 million little steps you've taken to get to where you are now. And like if this kind of shit had have happened like in 2020 when we met, you probably would have just been like, like
Oh yeah.
melt me through the floor. Whereas I bet by now you felt a bit excited as well. It sounds like you got to have like be quite present for the moment, which is really wonderful.
Yeah, I honestly did not feel like nervous. And I know I would have been shitting my shorts.
Yeah.
Like
But it's
even if it was
such
like 6 months ago, you know what I mean?
no, but like it's so true. And it's something we've said like to our listeners before, like that we both naturally get quite shy, get quite socially anxious in this situations,
Yeah.
but you can train yourself to be better at this stuff. Like, and it doesn't have to
Yes.
be doing a podcast. Like, I honestly think if you met me before my years being a flight attendant, I would have been so much more like kind of you know, quiet and like maybe not put forward my thoughts as readily until I got comfortable in a group. Um, but yeah, like that kind of job really made me like have to put my face on, stand in for oh my God, like can you imagine having panic attacks and anxiety disorder, which I was raging and untreated at that point, and doing the whole
No, in
what
front of
how
all
they
the
stand in the
passengers.
aisles and you do the thing? That was when I would have my worst panic attacks when I was like doing,
Wow.
and I didn't because I was like untreated at that. I didn't know what was happening for me. I would just feel this like extreme, like I'm gonna pass out while I'm doing this in front of 300 people. That's how it felt. But it
Whew.
trained me.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God, I don't know why I
Put you
picked
through it.
that when I was like so, but I really wanted to kind of like learn some people skills, like I wanted to be able to navigate those situations. Would have been great if I had some therapy before that. But anyway, we live and learn. And it's still putting yourself in that situation and seeing you can do it. You can overcome that big audience, whatever. It
Yeah.
does like slowly train your nervous system. You can feel safe in these spaces because you learn how to navigate all these different scenarios, and that's what helps minimize the anxiety around that stuff. So well done. I'm a proud mama papa over here. In my flannel, I'm your proud papa today.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. You look like a proud papa today.
That's my mustache. My beard.
Yes. Yes. Where's your Santa beard when we need it?
I know it's somewhere. Actually think I threw it because I don't
Yeah,
know if you remember how cheap the quality of that
I
was.
do. I do remember.
It was so itchy. It was so itchy and foul. I have to buy a slightly better quality one when it comes to promoting Jingle These Bells.
Yes, yeah. Okay, well, I've been seeing, we'll get to Jingle These Bells, I think.
Mm.
But I've been seeing some conversations on threads,
Oh yeah.
and it's a like this conversation that I have been seeing about, like authors can't really do much to push the needle. And I'm sure we've had this conversation many, many times.
Yeah.
But like Ryan LaSala, shout out, we love Ryan
Yeah, we
LaSala.
love Ryan.
Um, like he was saying no, like we do in
Mm.
many ways, and I just think about this podcast about going to events like with Adam. Like, oh, sure, we can't necessarily all go viral and like sell thousands of books and become bestsellers by being some TikTok sensation, but there are things that you can do
Mm.
to move the needle. And
I
so,
agree.
like, I've been seeing people go back and forth and just being like, no, it's hopeless. Like, I can't do anything. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But what do
I
you
understand.
think?
I understand it certain. So she was already ready with 20 thoughts.
Yeah.
I didn't even let you finish the thought. I
No, I
under
saw you like gearing up. I was like, okay, let her go. Let her go.
You're so patient with all my brain vomit. Um, I can understand why it feels like that because it certainly looks like that sometimes or a lot of the time. But I think there's two things. There's like expectation and guarantees are the two
Mm,
words that come to mind. I think if you go into things with expectation that you will do X, Y, Z and your reel will go viral, you are in for a world of disappointment in this industry. I think there's a lot of people we both know, like the experience of how hard you can hustle. And then the algorithm can be like, two plays.
yeah.
Enjoy your two plays. I thought this was shit, even though you spent like 5 hours on it. So I think one of the things that's the hardest in this industry is there's no guarantees. That was my other word. Like, I honestly think that's life in general. Like, people like to I think a lot of companies make their money on providing the illusion of guarantees. Religion loves to do it. Sorry, just a slash at religion, but like it is the case. Like if you can provide people a framework that guarantees them health,
Mm.
success, whatever they're
Heaven,
selling, eternal life,
heaven.
which
Yeah,
people are so
eternal life.
afraid of death, religion
Yeah.
loves to offer that one up, which is why it came to mind. Because yeah, like these as soon as you are touching those fear buttons on people, you're almost able to control them. Like, that's the sad,
Mm.
ugly truth. A lot of people are ruled and controlled by fear. And a lot of big companies, and again, it's why I bring up religion, which is often just a big company, depending on how it's presenting. And
Yeah.
that's not talking about spirituality or faith. That's an attack specifically towards religion. Not an attack, but a remark. But yeah, I think it's the same goes with this. The most frightening thing about it is there's no guarantees. You can follow the exact same path somebody took before you and have nothing come from it. But it wouldn't be nothing, but not what you expect, back to expectation, not what you expected would happen, right?
Yeah.
So I think if you go into it with that self-awareness of knowing it's all a bit of a crapshoot, that said, energy put in is, I think, generally when the world, like, there's obviously like so much unfairness in the world as well. Like, this is in an ideal world, right? When you're able to tap into this thing where you're able to grow as a person, able to chase your dreams. Sometimes there's things that restrict that, right? Depending on your circumstance in life. In an ideal world where you can like work on growing into your best self, work on like going towards your dreams. Like, yeah, it might not happen the way you imagine it, but I think if you're putting energy in, it always comes back to you in that ideal framework. And it may be unexpected how it turns out. You might have a podcast instead of a book deal in the first 4 years of your career, like that
Yeah.
can happen. And what a delightful, honestly, looking back, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like how magical and wonderful. But like to be aware of that as you go through it, I think is crucial because I absolutely believe we can move the needle. And I know because I've seen us both do it. Has
Yes.
it been in cataclysmic ways where overnight I got an agent and overnight you were a New York Times bestseller? Because those were things we've been working to, right? In recent times. And no, it fucking hasn't. It took me like 4, 5 years to get an agent. And you're not a bestseller yet.
Right.
But that's
Yet.
but that's what we're working towards. And along the way, I've seen us move the needle. And like, look at what you did last night. That's a globally recognized international best-selling author that you were just like shooting the breeze with, laughing with, and hosting their event because you're so fucking awesome. And you are. And you've been working on that. You've been growing yourself. You've been like expanding. You've been self-educating, right? Because we haven't done like a specific course for this. So anyway,
No.
sorry.
Preach. No, keep going. This is good.
I'm just like thinking of sparing a thought for poor Phil at the moment because I was on like a full monologue just then. And he like has to be subjected to them like sometimes on a Saturday morning. We'll wake up and the poor motherfucker is like still rubbing the sleep from his eyes, and I'm like, you know. Have you ever thought about, and then I'll like launch into like a half an hour
Cults.
monologue about publishing or cults. And sometimes he's so patient, he hears them all, but sometimes he'll be like, can we have coffee before the next monologue?
And you're like, slay
Anyway,
girl.
what about
Slay
you?
girl.
What do you think?
I think exactly what you said. Everything you just said. But I really and truly do think I love what you were saying. Like, and even Julie touches on this a little bit too.
Mm,
Like when we talk to her, your I can't remember what she said the quote wise, but kind of like your pace is the right pace,
your
and
pace
like
is
thing.
not their pace.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
Your pace is
so
not their
good.
pace. Like things are happening around you, and maybe you are hoping you're
Mm,
hoping it's going to be this one way. You're thinking, oh, it's got to be this way. It's got to be this way. But other things are happening that you're not even realizing and shifting, um and so like to just let it be, like
mm.
let the good and the bad come, and you're growing all throughout that. And like you were saying about putting out the energy, I think if you just keep putting out that energy, it's gonna come around.
Yeah.
But I think the difference between so many people is that they stop, like they
They
give up.
That's it. They stop and they give up. One of my favorite quotes in the meditations I do is, "You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are." Which can
Ooh.
sound almost ominous if you're not working on yourself. Because I actually think if you want to like succeed in an industry like this, you got to be working on yourself or you better have that like, family connection.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
if you can't
Yeah.
like come to a place of like self-awareness, the need to pivot, right? Because there's so many
Yes.
pivots, you will miss 90% more. I think you could miss your whole career if you grab, like you said, talked about grabbing onto like one idea and like it's got to happen exactly this way.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
miss your whole career while you're holding so tightly to that one image,
Mm.
you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. I hear it. I feel it
Mm.
in my soul. When I was talking to Adam, like I was just asking him about his journey, just even before we were like, on the
Yeah.
stage, whatever. But he was like, I always knew I was gonna be a writer. Like not just like I was gonna be a writer, but I felt it that I was gonna
Ooh.
have a
Woo.
book.
Got
You
chills.
know, like he just knew it. He didn't like he was
Mm.
saying, I didn't know I was gonna be this, and this, but I knew I was gonna have the book. And so I had this confidence about me because it was like, yeah, of course I'm gonna be an author. I just feel it in my soul. And so
Mm.
yeah, it's like you just have this knowledge like, okay, I'm gonna get here.
Yeah, you
I'm not
have
here
to have
yet,
it.
but it's gonna happen.
You have to have
What
that,
was the
like,
quote you said again? Can you say it again, because it was really good?
you
The
don't
meditation one.
attract what you want. You attract what you are. And
Yeah.
like I said, it can sound almost like, oh, but I'm not any of these things. But that's kind of the point of what it's saying. Like, you can't attract these things that are not aligned with you. So if that's something you want for, you've got to do the internal work. You've got to like you might want like a very kind of easy examples of this is like you might want to be the world's greatest abseiler, but if you do not do the abseiling lessons you could dream about that your whole life and never touch a rope and cliff. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. What what is
Abseiling, sorry, my
what is
bad.
it?
Isn't abseiling the thing where, well, now I've mixed them up. Which is the one where you like jump off the cliff?
I
Abseiling
don't.
is where you jump off the cliff with the wings, right?
Oh, like gliding,
That's paragliding. I
paragliding.
think abseiling. Do you not do it there? I
Uh,
think,
Do you
and
think I'm an expert on
you
abseiling?
can all laugh at me later, but what I understand abseiling to be is you go to the top of a cliff, or sometimes people climb up, so they're climbers as well as abseilers, and they
Okay.
climb up the cliff, and then you spring back down. You bounce off the
Oh
cliff
shit.
going down.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh my
Yes.
God, what
Okay.
if
Thank
it's
you.
not
Thank
that?
you. No, I'm sure it is. And I apologize because we are having such a deep conversation, but I was like, what the fuck is that? I thought it was like a sailor.
Ah,
But and at first when you said ab sailors, I thought like abs, like your stomach abs. So my brain stopped. I was
I
like,
have to
what
look
what
it
is an
up
ab sailor?
now. I feel
Okay.
so ashamed if I'm wrong.
Oh, I bet you're
Oh,
not.
look
I
at
bet you're
that.
not.
Look at that. What's that? Picture of people abseiling. Yeah, fuck yeah, it is.
How do you like? What is? Can I see the word like so I know? Okay, just that's just abseiling.
No, it's with an E. E-I. So it is different.
Oh, oh, abseiling,
Sailing.
sailing, abseiling.
But I did feel
Anyway,
stupid for a moment because I was like, wait, that doesn't sound like what it is at all, right?
no, but it is. Who would have known? I didn't even know there was a term for this.
It's probably
So
called something else there, is my
who
guess.
knows? It's called not smart. It's
Not your finest comeback, love, but we'll go with it. But anyway, all of that is to
anyway.
say, it's exactly the same as that. Like, you can't, any sport, okay, some sports, like, I'm sure you could play golf without any, like, oh, I shouldn't say that. Somebody will come for me. You could whack the ball and it'll go on the grass, you know what I'm saying? But some things require, like, a huge level of skill and, like, attention and yeah, like, if you think about what you can do to, like, level yourself up, to, like, to be ready for those situations when they come for you. Like that's what I can't recommend enough. Like putting your and again, you have to kind of ask yourself if you're doing this and you're thinking of having it as a career and you can't put yourself like you don't want to put yourself out there at all. That's okay too, but you might have to reframe what it looks like for you.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think also just reminding yourself that you are this.
Yeah,
Maybe not right now, but you are. Whatever it
that's
is your
it.
goal is.
And that's the positive shining side of that once you are happy with yourself and proud of who you are and like you will attract naturally the people who are like-minded. And that's the flip side of that quote that's so glorious because
Yes.
yeah, like you'll attract that, you know?
Yeah. I find that quote to be very encouraging and like
Yeah.
inspiring.
Oh,
of
same.
not like, oh darn, I'm not thinking these right things. It's like, oh, I should be thinking these things.
I
And
just,
like,
for
you know what I
someone
mean?
maybe starting their journey, if they're looking and they're like, oh my God, I could never, like, maybe they're looking at their favorite author and they're like, oh my God, I could never be in conversation with my favorite author. Maybe not in
Don't go
2019.
that far. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
not in
yeah.
2019 Montoya, but 2025 Montoya was ready.
She was ready, but and only after years of putting in the work. Otherwise, she would have not been okay.
That's it. But yeah, you've been hustling. You've been working like on yourself, on your craft, on your industry, on your community, on
Yeah.
every front you've been working. And so yeah, now that quote, the positive side of that quote comes to play
Yeah.
where you're like, I mean, I think the whole quote is positive, but I can understand it can be daunting to be like, wait, but what about this? What about this? But yeah, you got to have that Adam Silvera confidence and just be like, I know this is for me and I'm going to go for it.
Yes. Hell freaking
Speaking
yes.
of
Well,
which,
speaking of confident, humble queens who were always meant to be writers and doing the
Mm,
thing, we have an amazing rock star, an author, a playwright, an actress, an all around baddie, Julie
mm.
Soto. I will read Julie's bio. Um, okay, originally from Sacramento, shout out. That's me.
Ooh.
Julie spent many years bouncing between New York and California before eventually settling in coastal Fort Bragg, California. A theater and fandom nerd, Julie can tell you the name of any Buffy episode if you pick a number 1 through 7 and another 1 through 22. We
That's
should
cool.
have tested her on that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
With her Bichon-Poodle brother, Charlie. She spends her days writing rom-coms, adult fantasies, and YA thrillers, and at night she falls asleep to Pride and Prejudice 2005 in the background.
That's so
As a
cute.
playwright, I know. As a playwright, Julie's musical Generation Me won the 2017 New York Musical Festival's Best Musical Award, as well as Best Book for Julie's work on the script.
Mm.
Again, all around baddie Julie Soto.
Such a baddie, such a
Yeah.
funny, like she's got that hilarious dry sense of humor. Like she'll deadpan and then it like really catches you unaware and you get a good cackle. But yeah, what a star. Good job getting her
Amazing.
on.
Of course. Yes. I had the pleasure of like running into Julie at a few different
Yeah.
festivals. And we were at the Florida, the South. Actually, I'm wearing the friggin' shirt, which
Oh
is
my
funny.
gosh.
The Southwest Florida Book Festival. We were together and got to do a haunted house tour,
Oh, that
which
was
I wasn't a
then.
fan of. Yes, I obviously am not a fan of ghosts, but Julie was into it. Julie was into it.
Were you wearing the shirt the whole time or did you change?
No, today I had
Yeah.
this on and I didn't even realize. But she probably would have no clue. You can't see it.
Yeah.
Shout out.
I'm like, you're
Shout out
like,
to Lee
I
County
had
Library.
no idea I was realizing the shirt we wore on our event together.
Yeah.
But it does happen. The number of times that you surprisingly like gravitate towards something without thinking about it, but I'm still gonna call
Yeah.
you out.
It's magic.
It is
Mystery.
magic. You're
Yeah.
magic.
You're magic. The time really flew by
Oh
this
my
time.
God, it flew by. There was so many things, but we'll save them for. I got my copies. Look.
Yes. Oh my freaking goodness.
But I haven't even done a reel yet. I've just been slammed working on secret things. Listeners, cross your cloacas for me.
They're crossed tight right now. It's crossed so tight.
Although if you can cross your cloaca, something's probably wrong.
Or is it? Or is it? You're
Hello.
welcome.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to the show, Julie.
Thank you. How
Yeah.
are you, Melanie? Good to meet you.
So nice to meet you too. I was just scanning your bio again. I was like, "Oh, you write plays as well. That's exciting."
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Just an all around baddie. all around star.
She's a maverick.
She is.
We love a maverick on the show.
Okay, well,
Oh my gosh.
how the hell are you? You've
I'm
been all
good.
over the place. You've been really busy.
Yes, I just got off book tour for the Thrashers literally seconds ago. And yeah, so I did 1 week of my own book tour, and then I joined Susan Lee for her book tour for the romance rivalry. So that was great to kind of keep the party going. And I went to 4 cities that weren't on my book tour stop, so it was pretty much, pretty much a whole second week, basically.
You must
It
be
looked like you guys are
exhausted.
having a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun to tour with friends. But it was funny because it's like if you have the same conversation partner for like 4 nights in a row, like it was like we'd start dicking around, and then eventually I'd be like, "So Susan, this book, like," and it was
Yeah.
the exact same thing every time. Like as soon as there was a lull, I was like, let me hit the script.
Yeah. Back to the questions.
Yeah, and it was so funny because I was like, I hope she's not bored because like I'm boring myself. I've asked her the same thing 4 nights in a row, and it's just very funny. So
That is funny. I haven't really thought about like the dynamic of like the
the
same
same
questions with the
partners.
same partner. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that's funny.
yeah, exactly. Hi, baby. Who
Um,
is that?
Smokey
That's
loves to steal the show is
yeah,
something that
that's
you're gonna
Smokey.
see.
There he
Smokey.
goes. Yeah,
Oh,
anytime he knows, like anytime podcast is on, he's got to just do a little
yeah. He's
wrap
got to do a
around.
lap. Got to
Yeah,
do
he
a
does.
lap. Yeah.
Got to let himself known and his little pitter patter of his paws.
Yes.
Amazing.
So I apologize for that. I apologize for that.
Amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to ask like our random questions,
Yeah.
because I feel like this is where we really get to know our guests.
Yeah.
What is the weirdest, strangest, or most sentimental thing you own?
I was thinking about this. I don't even know about weird things. But like it's literally in front of me, so I must talk about this tape dispenser that is an otter. I love it
I love
so much.
him.
I don't even use tape, Like who uses Scotch tape anymore? I don't have a stapler on my desk, but I do have this little otter. Isn't
My
he
God.
precious?
He's glorious. Does he
Yeah.
have a name and where did he come from?
No, I think I couldn't even tell you. I think my mom bought him well, he came from China apparently. But my mom bought him she was doing a Secret Santa or like a white elephant thing for one of our Christmas parties, and she got him as a gift for someone. I said, I love him. And so she went and bought a second one.
Oh.
But yeah. But I don't know about weird or sentimental. I'm like so afraid of becoming a hoarder. Like
Mm,
it's like a fear of mine that I'll just like wake up one day and there will be stuff everywhere. So I like do not I just don't hold on to things if they're not like how people like hold on to, and you guys may do this too, but like hold on to like cards you've received, like just like not from readers but just like from family, like I read through it and I say great and I give it a toss, and like and like if it's an older relative, like I pick and choose. I was like, was this a better card than last year's card, which is going to be the card that I go to after they pass, and just like this is the card that I held on to. I had a friend, she's in her 30s, but she has cancer and she's in remission, thankfully. But like I've kept everything that she sent me, and like so it's like certain things I'll hold on
mm.
to forever, but yeah, yeah, that's my the I try not to keep tchotchkes. I
Mm.
like, yeah, I
It's a
definitely,
balance, right? Like
yeah,
I actually I'm very on your side with this. Like I know I have hoarder tendencies, so I have that
yeah,
fear as well. Like I could get sentimental over like anything, and I'll be
yeah,
the same. Like I'll suddenly brutally cut that box of cards from whenever because I'm like And even if I haven't spoken to the person in like a couple of years, I don't need the card. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
exactly. This was a lovely picture of their family at Christmas on the Christmas card, and I have not met the kid yet, so I don't think I need it.
Oh my gosh. I'm being called out right now because I
I
have them like on my fridge still. And
yeah,
there's,
yeah, yeah.
it's so true. I haven't met
Yeah.
this kid.
But
They're
is it
like
a
11,
2024 card or is it like a 20 you've kept a 2022 Christmas card on the fridge?
just
Like,
on the fridge. Like
yeah.
they slowly kind of just like get pushed to the side of the fridge.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I got to work on that because
yeah.
I feel like one of them is from like 2019. Not a lot of we don't have a lot of friends apparently, and not very many of them send us cards.
Happens.
So I just
Yeah,
keep the few that I have.
yeah.
Girls, I've just got to grab my cable. I didn't realize how low my battery was. Please
Okay.
talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, if Melanie just disappears, we'll make it work, you know?
It'll be great.
Actually, we won't because this is on her this is her recording. Let's fingers crossed. Fingers crossed she goes
Exactly.
Right
fast.
here, I just forgot to plug it. I didn't realize we milked all the juice from watching Secret Lives of Mormon Housewives last night. So
Oh my God. I hear that's the new thing. I need to dive in. Yeah.
You need to dive in. You're gonna like binge it so hard because they're just it's such great television.
it's
Yeah.
chaos.
Just
It's pure chaos. It is glorious because it's pure chaos. And have to say, like, nothing has switched. Like, I've been so busy at the moment, and nothing has switched my mind off and given me a proper vacation in my head, like watching
Yeah.
this crap. It's so good. I'm hooked. I'm a fan. What can I say?
I truly need, yeah, I usually switch my mind off and do the true crime documentaries. Like I don't do a lot of reality TV, honestly. But I feel like this is time. It's time.
Time. And listen,
kind of
just I
dip your
want to
toes
just
in.
I just want to back reality TV for a second here. Too much is too much, but
Yeah.
what it does well is it like really explores like the kind of intricacies. It's great for character study. Like the
Yeah.
way that it kind of delves into like kind of all their little bitch fights and stuff. I was like,
Yes.
"Ooh, I'm using that." Oh my
Yeah.
God, Whitney, you're such a bitch.
Whitney. Yeah. Yeah. So I had to watch, I didn't have to, I chose to, but I was gonna do an event with Hannah Brown, the Bachelorette, for the release of her book last year. I was hosting her in New York, and I was like, well, I've read the book, but these are going to be like Hannah Brown fans, not like book fans who are coming, and I would just like to get to know her better. So I was like listening to her autobiography that came out a couple of years ago, and then I was like, well, I better watch her season of The Bachelor and then her season of The Bachelorette. I was like, oh damn, like thank God that I had to like pay for that season, and like because like if it was just like because there are, the more recent seasons are like streaming, right? But like thank God I couldn't just be like next episode. Because
They get you.
yeah, I understood everything, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really understood it all. Yeah.
Yeah, next
I,
episode is why my battery's dead.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what is something that you think about way too often? What's your Roman Empire?
This was going to be my other random thing, but Interview with the Vampire on AMC and AMC Plus, Angela already knows. She got invited to a screening party in Atlanta. To be fair, I gave her 8 hours notice, so it was not surprising that she could not make it.
I mean, 8 hours is a lot of notice, but I get overwhelmed with
Yeah.
with humans. So
As you should.
yeah.
We should all be a little more overwhelmed with
And
humans, I think.
I feel like it was late. Like you were gonna have people in the theater late, and
It wasn't going to start until 10. Yeah. I was like, we're vampires.
I love it. What about that show? Because I've seen you a few times now
And
in the
all I could
wild,
talk
and every time you talked about this show, what about it? Like, do you just freaking love?
It is so well written. Do you ever like you have a show that's like your guilty pleasure, that's like a fiction, a scripted show, not a reality show. Like it's like your guilty pleasure, but like you actually genuinely believe it's good, you know, and you're like, no, like these actors are good, and like I think there might be a year where they could win an Emmy, you know, or like or things like, you know, or you just have like such blind faith in like in how I think the writing is pretty darn good. Like this is like multiply that times 10 where you're like, no, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Like it is like I have such confidence in the writing to where like I don't remember the last time like where you have like a fandom, like a love story is being told and the writing is superb. Like there's like, you know, there's shows like Severance and there's shows where all the writing is very good, but this is like a gothic love story and like I have faith that no one's going to be killed off because they're vampires. You know, like that like it's, you know, it's like I've never had this much faith in like being in a fandom and not being let down by something. So I'm in deep. I have joined Reddit for the first time. I've always like hovered on IMDb. I made an IMDb account so I could 10 star every single episode. Like I have, you know, like I'm like we're cooking with gas. We're gonna get this 6 seasons in a movie, you know. But like I adore it so much, and it is it's like it's what I love too is that it's a romance story, but it is so messy, and we don't get to be this messy in publishing. Like we have to go through gatekeepers of editors and then the readers' feedback and just like being worried about like, oh man, what don't I want to show as part of this relationship? And like, you know, readers love the cinnamon roll nowadays. Like they used to love the darkling, but now they love the cinnamon roll. And, you know, and like you have to like follow trends and stuff, but like this is just like unapologetically messy. And like anyways, what else were we supposed to talk about on this? Because I'm this close to creating my own podcast to talk about the show. Nikki
You
Payne has
should.
said she will join me, and like I want to like interview a new romance author every episode and be like, why is this the best thing on TV?
You should. You absolutely should.
Yeah,
You and
yeah,
Nikki
yeah.
Payne would be on fire.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
well,
endorse this.
I need the energy to go somewhere, you know? I just
Yes.
need the energy to go somewhere.
well, it just flew into
Please
me
do.
because it's shot to the top of my to watch list.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We've been influenced.
I know. Melanie, I'm assuming you're Australian. Is that what I'm
Absolutely, I am.
hearing? Great. Before I made a mistake and you're actually from New Zealand. But
Could happen.
but Sam Reed, who plays Lestat, is Australian, doing an incredible French accent, but also he's on a really great, see, this is the thing, I'm like watching everyone's backlist. He's on a really great Australian TV show. I don't know if you were aware of it in the past couple of years, called The Newsreader with Anna Torv. And it was just a really excellent show. So anyways, I'm getting into Australian culture because of love of these vampires.
I'm very
So
here for that. Make sure you watch Kath and Kim.
yeah, I have to look that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've heard about that
It's
one.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was like my first impression. Like that was probably one of Melanie's first recs was Kath and Kim, and I was like, I am here for this.
Yes.
The accent, like the humor.
That
Yeah.
accent is real.
It's thick.
Yeah.
She's
I
thick.
have to like
She thick.
rein it in because I live in an area where there's, I don't know if you remember for Angela, Prue and Prue. There's a lot of Prue and Prue true accents around here. And I have to like, it's very like aloof. It's like kind of pseudo British Australian,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
kind of thought to be quite fancy. And every now and then I'll stumble on like a flock of True and Prues and I'll just have to be like, rein it in, rein it in. So that's my pitch for that.
That's hilarious. Yeah, yeah,
So
Well-
we know what you think about way too often. What
Yeah.
about writing? Did you always want to be a writer?
yeah. I was an actress. I started acting when I was 7, and went to school for theater in college,
Mm.
and started playwriting um, in 2014-ish. And I had a musical that won some awards in New York, and but then when the pandemic happened, I was already starting to write a little bit of fan fiction. So I was like writing fiction, which is different from playwriting and plays, right? But just like online for community. And then when the pandemic happened and we couldn't move forward on the musical, um, I it was very nice to in the pandemic, you just sat alone in your room with a laptop. And funny enough, that's what writing books is. So I definitely pivoted in that direction, which was kind of such a relief after like, theater is such a group project thing. And you're like, someone's always pulling the weight, someone's always dragging behind. And it was just such a relief to be like, okay, I can do all the work myself and then we can group project it later.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, and some people thrive off the theater group project, atmosphere of things. And I just like, I was so sick of it by then. Um, you know, so, so yeah, I definitely had not wanted to be a writer necessarily, but it is funny looking back because like senior year of high school, I was allowed to like, I didn't need a language and I didn't need a fourth year math. So like based on where I knew I wanted to go to college. So like I had like 2 class periods of electives and like between first semester, second semester, I took 4 English classes. Like so
For
I'm
funsies.
just yeah, for funsies. And one of them was creative writing, one of them was creative poetry, and then I like got a creative writing minor in college. But like I was thinking of that in terms of playwriting. It was just all these little things. I'm like, I think I've always wanted to do this. I just didn't tell myself so. I
Yeah,
took
you were always a storyteller of some sort.
yeah, yeah. So that was I did not necessarily always want to be a writer, but storytelling definitely, Angela. Yeah.
Okay, so during the pandemic, we're opening the laptop, we're in our room, we're writing. Like, how did it get from in the room to here we are? I am Julie Soto, like bad bitch extraordinaire.
Bad bitch
You know,
extraordinaire. Yeah.
nationwide tours. Like, how did we? Where did it all start? Like publishing wise for you?
Yeah. Um, Really Allie Hazelwood getting approached by her agent through her fan fiction. And then kind of because like the book I queried was my Raylo fan fiction that became Not Another Love Song. So like I was I I definitely wanted to be a writer and I was starting to put together the pieces of the Thrashers back then. But like I was adapting my fanfic because it was no longer the most taboo thing you could possibly do as of, 10 years ago, right? And like the authors who don't even speak of it anymore, even though we all know what it was and where it came from, right? Um, so yeah, it was really just like a having I was friends with Allie from Raylo fandom and having her experiences and having her like in my corner about like, you know, that fanfic has a beginning, middle, and end. It's already 60,000 words. You should pull it and adapt it. And I was like, yeah, I should. And it was really nice. Her agent was like gave me like initial feedback on things and like we're still friends to this day. Her agent and I. So it's like even though she didn't officially offer me representation and I'm with someone else, but like it sounds like I just like I get on so well with my exes, you guys. But I'm not a girl's girl. I get on with my exes. I'm not like other girls.
You're not.
Um, so yeah, that was really, I wouldn't say that it like fell into my lap, but it was a swerve in the pandemic in a way, in that kind of like Allie first told me like, hey, you should pull to publish February 20th of 2020. And like, it's like that was like we were in New York City, probably rife with COVID, and it was like we were about to lock down, and we were like chatting about it, and then within, a couple weeks it was like, what else is there to do?
Yeah, I'm pulling it, baby, and I'm
Yeah.
writing. That is the coolest thing. I freaking love that. I don't think I knew like your backstory into publishing. Like
Yeah.
I just see you around at things, and I'm like, there she is. The aura is so strong, and now it all makes sense. It all feels right.
The aura is something else, I'll tell you that. Yeah.
The actress aura, like she's
Yeah.
coming out, like dominating.
Yeah.
Feels it.
She's a sociopath. It's fine. Yeah. Not an empath, a sociopath.
I love that. I'm here for it. I'm all about it.
We need it in this day and age. We need it.
Yeah. Has there been anything like about publishing that has surprised you?
Everything's surprising some days, You're just like, oh, really? It's really interesting because coming from fanfic, I had a following there. So, and I did not bring them all with me. A lot of fandom readers are either not interested in rom-coms, which is why they're in fanfic in the first place, or they can't they don't want to get into paying money for books when they've been reading things for free forever, and that's totally their prerogative. But like it was interesting, the switch really from the serotonin and dopamine of like, let's literally vomit out a chapter. And within, 20 minutes, I have 10 emails. I have 10 like comments on the fic. And it's like, this dopamine is sent directly to your inbox. So it's like and then versus the let's go away and write an entire book with no one but myself to keep me company. But I wouldn't even say that's a surprise, like that's a given, So yeah, I think everything's such a surprise. You
Yes. That's so real.
It's, something comes along, you're like, oh man, that's a new one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it in my bones.
Yeah. Whether it's, reader interactions or TikTok's going away and I just figured it out. Come on. Like, and then TikTok's still here. Oh man, I deleted everything,
Surprise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one thing after another. That's real.
I think everything was a surprise.
Just life.
Here we are.
Like life. Just full of surprises.
So much.
Not all
so
great.
Much so.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It really does. So you mentioned that when you were like first starting, you already had sort of the idea of thrashers as you were writing your other stories. So were you always like in your mind ready to like do different genres and even age groups? Like, were you always ready to just be like, whatever, I want to do it all?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a YA writer that put out romances first, is truly like which is funny because I'm probably going to be the most known for Rose and Chains, but which is neither. But I definitely, so I've been writing the thrashers on and off like since high school, which was like 2 years ago. So like,
yes.
It was only 2 years ago. So let's get those eyebrows where they need to be. There we go. Yeah. But So it's like I had like pieces of the idea when I was like 19 and then like just kept playing with it for a while. So I which is funny because didn't I just say I didn't necessarily want to be a writer, you know?
It's always been
But
there.
so so I started actually putting Thrashers on paper probably back in like 2019. And then I started editing Not Another Love Song in 2020. And then I didn't start Forget Me Not until 2021. So, like, I think they're so special to me because the Thrashers were the first original characters I wrote. So even though I was writing fan fiction in 2016, 2017 onward, like the first original thing I created were the Thrashers. So, and if Forget Me Not hadn't sold, I probably would have pivoted to trying to sell YA thriller. Um,
Mm.
so it's just like yeah, it's like I just had these, which is why people are so like, oh my God, you have so many things coming out. I was like, thanks, they were all written prior to 2022, you
Yeah.
know, so it's like I've just been editing. Um, so it's like yeah, I probably would have been a YA thriller author first if my agent hadn't picked me up with Not Another Love Song and if Forget Me Not hadn't sold.
I love this. I love everything you just said. And we talk, it's something we talk about on the pod a lot, like kind of the art of the pivot. A lot of the opportunities that
Yeah.
come or like the directions we take, I feel like they come about from being able to pivot and try something new in publishing.
Yeah. Yeah. The art of the pivot. That is such a valid, like, such a great conversation topic. Yeah.
Well, because we're hit with all these surprises, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
pivot.
Yeah.
Gonna like,
Yeah.
oh shoot, that's
Oh
scary.
man, historical is dead. Didn't you hear? Yeah.
Guess I'm
And
pivoting.
and even if it's not dead in 2 years, you're being told it'll be dead in 2 years. So you better not write historical now for it to come out in 2 years, and then you must pivot. Yeah.
Mm.
Must pivot. The art of
The
the
art.
yes.
It is.
Well, can you
Yeah.
tell us about the Thrashers? Like, what is it about? I have been dying because I've heard so many friends say so many good things about it, and I've been dying to get my hands on it. So, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Thank you. Yeah, it's a young adult thriller about a high school friend clique that becomes the subject of a police investigation after a girl who desperately wanted to join the clique dies. And a journal is uncovered that possibly details that they were bullying her. So, and then that combined with some strange occurrences, think Final Destination type, what the hell was that? Things makes them think that perhaps Emily is not done with them yet. It's my spooky pitch. Yeah.
You
Yep.
talked a little bit about like what brought you to this project. Was there any other like inspirations that you drew from?
I, I love those soapy teen dramas. I love Veronica Mars. I love Vampire Diaries. I didn't specifically watch Pretty Little Liars, but it's such a inspiration. I love Gossip Girl, you know, those episodes where it's like, oh no, Serena's gone missing, you know, and it's like it's more than just like the drama between them. It's like a group coming together to solve or like some outside force is creating the drama and everyone's like locking down. We're like, we're the friend group, you know, like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. It's giving Riverdale. Maybe before
Riverdale, that
Riverdale
was
went too
such a
far.
good, oh yeah, exactly. I'd only watched season one, but that was such a good show.
Yeah. Season one, I was peak Riverdale.
Yeah.
We went downhill. Some strange things started happening, but
Yeah.
that first few seasons really good.
Yeah.
I love that. Is there anything you would want readers to know like before going into it?
Yes, trigger warnings are on my website because it is dark. Features teen suicide, it features, you know, it's YA, but it does have drug and alcohol use and language, and bullying, of course. So there's trigger warnings to know, and just also that's, I mean, immediately I'm like, trigger warnings, you must know these things, but yeah.
Go to the website. Is that
Yeah.
that's what I'm hearing?
My website has trigger warnings, or like my link tree on my social media has like the direct link to content warnings for the Thrashers.
That's
Perfect.
handy.
Yeah.
Yes.
YA is no joke, we've learned, right? Yeah.
Get them trigger warnings out, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's good. Like if somebody feels like they need to know, they can go on your website and know.
Yeah.
I was just in conversation with Adam Silvera, and
Mhm.
he has like an author's note before the book even,
Yeah.
before you start reading. And of course he has deals with some really heavy themes. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's good.
I have one at the beginning, but they whittled it down to the most important trigger warnings where I'm like, you know what? You never know. I'm from fandom. You're supposed to tag everything, you know?
Ah,
Like you're especially now that someone's paying for it, it's like I like in fandom, if you click on a link and you keep reading after the trigger warnings say what's going to be in it, then that's on you that you didn't X out, right? But
okay,
like
yeah.
when you're asking someone for their money, like I just feel like you should truly lay it all out there. So anyways, my website has the complete list of trigger warnings, but there is like the big broad ones in the front of the book, which I'm glad they created that page for it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I
I'm
want to
gonna-
ask you, what do you think has been the hardest part of your writing journey so far?
Probably the writing.
That's valid. Valid.
Super valid.
Yeah. Um, you know, I feel like the touring and the public facing stuff, because I'm a theater kid, it's in the wheelhouse. It's truly, you still have to like watch what you say and you can't be a wild, wild and crazy kid. But there's always like the self comparison that you have to get over. But I think it's honestly the balance of marketing brain, admin brain,
Mm.
and creative brain, which are, I think there's probably four other brains, honestly. But like those are like the main three because it's not just like marketing brain and admin brain are, when it's tax season, those aren't the same brains, it's like, so, trying to and realizing that you can't have all three brains turned on in one day. Like
Mm.
one day has to, if it's your writing day, your marketing and your admin brain probably have to get turned off.
Oh
I
yeah.
love
Oh,
that.
that hits.
Yeah.
It's good
That
advice,
hit.
actually. I'm
Angela's like, God
tucking it
damn
away.
it. Yeah.
I just fell back like, oh shit, that's good. Felt it in my spirit. It just rattled a little bit. Like, you can't do everything, bitch.
I
Yes.
know.
Okay, that's good. What has been your favorite part of this journey?
Meeting readers, and meeting authors, like creating the connections with authors, telling Angela she must watch Interview with the Vampire, and looking forward to the day that she DMs me and says, "You were right." And but honestly, like meeting other authors and creating those connections is just fabulous. But like in I get to meet people who started reading my fan fiction in 2017, like who like you don't get to meet your fan fiction people. Like you will if you create the community and you're in group chats and it's like, where do you live? Where do you live? But like there's like fan fiction authors who I look up to and admire who I will never meet. I will never know how I could get an opportunity to meet them, but like I get to like meet my readers who have been there from like the very beginning and will like support everything that I do, which is wild.
Mm, that's so special. It's
Yeah.
always like really humbling when somebody kind of like resonates with something you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I wanted to build the community, but I didn't realize it was actually going to happen.
Yeah.
That's
It's
the best.
beautiful. And
Yeah.
you're great with people, and I can see why they would support you and love you.
Hmm.
And you're talented also on top of it. Um
Maybe
a
to
little
be
bit.
seen. Yeah.
To be determined.
Yeah.
Okay, so I see we have 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
I want to ask our favorite question, which is looking back at all you've accomplished, what advice would you give a younger version of yourself before you even started this journey?
I feel like younger version of yourself needs to know like trust. There's this great quote from Lin-Manuel Miranda, their pace is not your pace. which is something that I've had, like I have it in my like, notes, like it's like a header on certain documents. I don't listen to it, but like but it's still their pace is not your pace. And then like, it's not like good things come to those who wait, but like what is meant for you will always arrive on time, and like, yeah. And it's like anytime that I have felt I'm not moving fast enough, or like I've been like this year, I'm putting 2 books out within 8 weeks of each other. Like that's been a little rough, and perhaps I would have done it differently, but like I've, Thrasher's hit New York Times last week. Like it's my life is doing the things I want it to do. And like live in that pace, and not a different pace that I earned this pace. So like, yeah, let this pace be my pace.
You earned it. I love that. I earned this pace.
Yeah.
Hell freaking yes. Also, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Best time. New York Times best-selling. She's at her own pace. Congratulations, honestly. You're killing it. I'm so excited for everything that you're doing, and I cannot wait to read The Thrashers.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. You are spectacular.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys, this is great.
You're great. Thank you for coming on. It was so great to meet you. And yeah, like I'm gonna be watching Interview with a Vampire.
You have to DM me immediately. Let's start a group chat and we'll all watch it together.
Literally, I was waiting for you. It's been on my list, but I just haven't gotten to it. So this is the sign of the universe nudging me harshly into it. I need it.
Perfect. This is all I wanted out of this podcast.